Nelson?
No.
They said they can't hear.
Okay,
There.
I'll stand up.
We may need a chair more.
I'll tell you what I know about the CEO situation.
Speak up.
Last Thursday, the board met and interviewed the sort of final candidate that was recommended by the search committee to the board. And since I'm on that board, you elected me to this position, I'm on that board. I was participating in that interview. And it was a good interview, and I do believe that this is a step up for us. More than just because of the situation we're in, but a real step up. It's my view. The board approved the situation, but there was one hiccup that was left over that was unspecified, and the lawyer on the board and a couple of the CPAs wanted to have verification about one particular item that Jerry didn't have paperwork right there in front of him to be able to describe. So it was all then put on hold until that's cleaned up. What had been intended was that at the end of that meeting, we had already set up an army of people to distribute flyers to make the announcement. But of course, since it wasn't official by the board, those were not distributed. I wouldn't even be saying this part to you, except one of the board members apparently was in the bar after the meeting was over and told one of our residents council, along with some others, this is secondhand to me, the residents council, that the board had just selected a CEO. So then, of course, Katie brought the board, and then on it just went like wildfire. And of course, my phone's been coming off the wall, and I suspect you all have had lots of conversations in the hallways about that. And and in fact, he is coming the 1st of May or the 2nd of May, I guess, is the actual date. And then that's the time that Kathy apparently will be leaving. That's what was said, at least. So no official announcement is made. I wouldn't even be saying this much since we were asked not to say anything, except what happened in the bar. It seemed to me that for me to...
What happens in the bar doesn't stay in the bar.
It goes to the door. I was in the bar.
Right. So it reminds me of I had a department head at the University of Iowa where I was at. And he had a big sign in his it was a big department. He had a sign in his office that said, "No good deed will go unpunished." And there's 2 incidents today that I feel like I'm in that spot. One is about that, and the second thing has to do with what's going on with the ILR now. But I'll talk more about that in just a minute. In any event, that's what I know about the new CEO situation. I have not heard from Jerry or the board, the rest of the boards since. So you literally know all I know. And Pat was there, of course, and I suspect that she can corroborate most of what I have said. So I'd answer questions, but I don't think I would have told you everything I know. Everything else is pure speculation on my part. I don't know.
Nelson, can you tell us what the missing item was that was of such significance as to delay everything?
Jerry didn't say. I was in the bar.
Yeah.
And Midge was in the bar. He came in with a sheath of papers, and he said that they had the notices ready to go, but there was one small snag that had to be cleared up, pretty much what you said.
Yeah.
But they were expecting it to be cleared up and to have the person in May. That was exactly what he said.
And I think that's about as far as I can go. Pat, want to add anything to that?
No, that's what we got through them up to sent out.
Very
There
good.
was a technical
May
issue that
1st.
needed to be taken care of, and once that was settled,
Is that a deal-breaking technicality, or is that just
He didn't say.
He said
No. Watch it.
suppose.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah, I suppose every technicality is a deal breaker, but I don't know.
Yeah.
That would be something for the board to decide. I want to ask one more question since we are off the subject, because I really want to talk about when that person comes, whenever it is. It seems to me he has been made well aware of some of the caca that we have lived through for the last couple of years, and the difficulties and the like. And but he also seems to be very much interested in having full communications with everybody, and very much so with the residents. He talked about what's happened at his locations now. That's the thing that impressed me most about him, is that he seemed to be very open about those kinds of things. It's very clear to me that when he makes a decision, but we'll know why. And he will get a full range of opinions and so forth from all the principals before he makes those decisions. So it seems to me that's exactly what we would expect anybody to do. That's what we would expect to do if we were in his shoes. So, and none of us, certainly not me, want to be in his shoes. I want to be in a different set of shoes. But I'm very quite hopeful. I think the search committee did a good job, and I think that the board made a good selection. Personally, I'm pleased. So just as a member, I'm pleased with what's happened. Pat, you want to make a comment at all?
No, I think that's great. I mean, we all know what's happened. We all know the culture that is developed here, you know, some of the negativism and why some of that's developed. And I would agree with what Nelson said. I think that this man is coming. He's been through adversity before. He's just finished overseeing a multi-million-dollar renovation there, which left some people happy and some unhappy. Surprise, surprise. So I think the main thing is that all of us, me, everybody, the council, need to give the man a chance. You know, we need to give him a chance to learn the operation, to learn the people, not just the staff, but those of us who, you know, we have a lot of people here who you just never hear from. So he needs to learn the ones he's going to hear from too, and as well as the others. And I think if we just give him the opportunity and don't expect him to come in and listen to every word, everything one of us wants him to do, and, you know, so I think that's it. We just need to wipe the slate clean and start over and give him every chance. And
so while he knows a lot about what's going on here, it seems to me for us to give him a list of the major issues as we see them, we would ask him to investigate and look at, which I'm sure he would do. It would give him a sort of a head start on doing some of that, not before he comes. When he gets here, he doesn't have to figure that all on his own. I think that your resident council will have considerable input to him, and he will listen to that. And that's what I wanted this discussion to be. And a number of people here, as well as on the Residents Council, and a number of people who are not here, have sent already ideas and suggestions about things that ought to be looked at, investigated, reviewed, etc. And I have made a compendium, and this is part of the discussion for today. That's what I would like to do, so that when he comes and he asks for a discussion from the resident council, we could have this document for him to look at. So that's my goal. Before we do that, though, the 18th, which was the regular council meeting, residents council meeting scheduled, which was put off 1 week because in deference to recycle riches, is that run into some more difficulties because it runs up against a very large ILR program that's coming up with, apparently, as I understand it, nearly 100 signees already for that. And we're supposed to be in the Acorn Room, because we had the Oak Room. If he was going to be introduced that day there, then it would make sense to be in the Oak Room. Since that's not clear, and my guess is it won't happen that day. That's pure speculation on my part. I do not know that. Just speculating. To have them all, have 100 people try to be crammed into the Acorn Room seems to me to be a mistake, or unfortunate at least. So I guess I'm throwing out for discussion, whether we cancel the resident council meeting this month, wait till perhaps the board calls something to introduce a new CEO, and do, in deference to the meeting that, the ILR. Now, there's some bylaws issues and so forth, and already I'm hearing some mumbling back here behind me. But anyway, I want to just throw it on the table, so if we decide to keep it, why? If we decide to, in deference to the ILR, why? And then we just agree on what we're going to do.
Now,
I'll throw it on the table.
Why did they sign up 100 people when they only had a small room?
no.
They got the room.
They got the room after we did.